If you've been on the internet for any amount of time over the last month, you've seen or heard of this. And whether you call it the fourth quarter run or the winter arc, or as of late, the great lock in, influencers and vloggers alike have no doubt made the case for why now is the time. And I'm not going to be any different. I tend to think about things in terms of cycles and seasons in nature. And fall is traditionally the time when things are changing, even the leaves are changing. And I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to sort of mimic nature and institute some changes of our own. Not in January, where nothing is blooming or growing or sprouting because it is the dead of winter. But if, like me, you've had the best of intentions, but you still sort of struggle with actually committing to the lock in, stick around because I want to discuss why that may be the case and why it could be something you've never even considered before. Hi, I'm Tiffany, your organizing bestie, in my head anyway. I teach organization as a pathway to authentic living, and I combine practical strategies with faith based mindset work. So, let me paint a picture for you. It's 11 p.m. You're scrolling Instagram or whatever your social of choice is. You see a college friend. They just bought their third investment property. Another friend is on like their second honeymoon this year. And then you see somebody else that you know that just got promoted to director. And here you are, sitting in your bed eating cereal for dinner. You're in your pajamas and you're wondering, what did you do wrong? What am I doing with my life? And then you come across the great lock in, change your life content. And you start to think, well, shoot, I want to change my life. Let me adopt this 27-step morning routine and get out of debt and buy a home and lose 50 pounds and get a signature lip combo and start a new business and start solve world hunger. Does this sound familiar? This is what social media does to us. It turns everybody else's highlight reel into like our measuring stick. And we say it all the time, but I wonder, do we really think about it when we are comparing our behind the scenes to everybody else's edited and filtered and carefully curated final cut? Because the deeper problem is we're not just feeling bad about ourselves, we're actually changing our goals to match what we see. We're pursuing the things that we don't even want because we saw somebody else pursue it, achieve it, and then get validation for it. Now, let me say this. If you are genuinely encouraged by something you see on socials, by all means. My prayer is that you're encouraged by something, that you see here or that you see me say or that you hear me say. I just want us to consider if it's actually something that we authentically want. Because comparison is just making us it's not just making us unhappy, it's making us lose touch with what we actually want, and it's stealing our authenticity one scroll at a time. Quick question: when was the last time you made a decision on that was based on what you actually wanted? Not what you thought you should want, not what the algorithm said, but the values that you actually sat down and established for yourself. And if you had to pause for a minute, you're not alone. So, how do you actually figure out what you want? What is your desire? How do you separate your authentic value from all the noise? So, here are some, I think, practical questions that we can ask ourselves. Number one, what do I care about when nobody's watching? When you're alone and there's no socials to post to, and there's nobody to impress. What do you think about? What matters to you? What problems do you want to solve? What lights you up? Number two, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail and you knew nobody would ever see it? So we're going to take away both the fear of failure and also the possibility of that external validation. So what's left? That's when you start to get some real insight into your authentic desire. And question 3, when do I feel most alive? And I'm not talking about happy. I'm talking about alive, because there is a difference. You can be happy eating pizza and wings, but you might only feel alive when you're creating, or when you're helping somebody or serving somebody, or when you're solving a complex problem. So pay attention to those things. 4, what am I willing to suffer for? Because the truth is, anything that is worth having is going to require some kind of sacrifice. So your authentic path is not necessarily the easy path. It's the path where the struggle feels like it is worth it to you. It's worthwhile. It's meaningful. So what's worth those hard seasons in your life? Number 5, if I was giving advice to somebody that I loved in my exact situation, what would I tell them? Because the truth of the matter is, sometimes we are more clear about other people's lives than our own. So what would you tell your best friend to do if they were in your exact shoes? I want you to write down the answers, pray over it, sit with it, really sit with it and think about it. And that's when like your authentic values will start to bubble to the surface. So there is something that I feel like bears mentioning here, because it is, in my opinion, by far one of the bigger issue. And during this process, it is sure to come up. And I haven't seen this being talked about in some of the other like lock in and transform type of posts on social media. And that is the cognitive dissonance that's associated when you actually do change your life. So, cognitive dissonance is the discomfort that you feel when your beliefs and your reality don't match up. And so, when you start living authentically, when you start leveling up, you're going to experience this in waves. Let me just make that perfectly clear, because your beliefs and your behaviors right now, they align with the old you, the person you're becoming will feel foreign to you. You'll make decisions that maybe don't feel like you because they're not you yet. They're not aligned. They're not the old you. They're aligned to the person that you're becoming. So you may set boundaries that feel kind of harsh, and you may walk away from things that used to make you feel super safe. You may begin investing in yourself in ways that may make the old you feel a little selfish. And your brain is going to freak out because your brain is wired for consistency. And, we talked about this before. It wants you to be who you've always been. So when you start acting differently, even when you're acting in alignment with your authentic self, and even when that's a good thing, your brain is going to start throwing up all these red flags. Like, what are you doing? We do not act like this. And you'll have the moments where you'll think, I don't even know who I'm becoming. I don't recognize myself. And you may second guess yourself. And that's all perfectly normal. It's a part of the process. You may even feel guilty for changing, and you'll wonder if you're making a huge mistake. You're not. Like I said, it's worth it. It's normal. It's all part of the process. So the old you believed certain things, that you couldn't say no, that you had to please everybody, that your value came from achievement, and that, heck, you're a junk food junkie and you're just following the script, whatever the case may be. But the new you is learning new and different truths, that like your no is powerful, and that you can't pour from an empty cup, that your value is inherent, and that there is no script. So those two belief systems are at war with each other, and the battlefield is your mindset. So, some ways to navigate it. First, acknowledge the discomfort. Don't try to think your way out of this one. Just say, this feels weird because I'm growing and I'm changing, and sometimes change is just going to be weird. And I want to share something with you really quick. If you allow yourself to sit and to feel the emotions, you can have anything you want, because generally speaking, the worst that can happen is an emotion. And I'm not talking about like real danger or physical abuse, but 9 times out of 10, The worst thing, you may feel like you're gonna die, but that feel like you're gonna die is still just a feeling. So if you allow yourself to sit in discomforts long enough for it to no longer be uncomfortable, you literally can have whatever you want. Second, remind yourself of your why. And this is why it's important to have had that hard conversation about authenticity already, because when your why is because social told me to or because the algorithm said so, that's not going to be a strong enough reason to keep you going. So you're going to need to know for yourself why you started this, and also, like, what is the cost of staying the same. Third, find evidence about that supports your new identity. So we talked about this before as well. Get that evidence file out. So keep a record of or a journal of all of the moments when you showed up as your authentic self, and then things went better than they would have as the old you. Fourth, you're just gonna have to be comfortable being misunderstood, even by yourself, because there will be a transition period where you don't fully feel like you understand who you're becoming, and that's okay. Keep walking, because that dissonance will ease, and your new identity will become your new normal. But I think we should expect it and prepare for it so that when it rears its ugly head, we're not tempted to turn around. So again, I'll ask, are you struggling to lock in? You know, that you're not alone. Just make sure you're not taking on too much. Make sure you're not chasing goals that are not yours. Make sure that you're not ignoring the voice inside that may be telling you this ain't it. Because your authentic path is waiting for you. It's not going to look like everybody else's. It's not going to feel like everybody else's. And it may not even make sense to everybody. It's going to trigger some cognitive dissonance, because you're going to level up to the person that you're meant to be. But it is your path, and that's what makes it worth it. God didn't create you to be a copy of somebody else. He didn't create you for that. He created you with a unique calling, with unique gifts, with unique passions. And when you step fully into that authentic version of yourself, when you stop performing and just start being, that's when the magic happens. So, here's my challenge to you. This week, I want you to think about one thing. Make one decision that is based on what you actually want, not what you think you should want. And start small and just see and notice how it feels. So drop me a comment. What's one thing that is a part of the locked in action item that does not feel like your authentic self? I want to hear about it in the comments. Let me know. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content on living authentically and intentionally in your faith. Not performance, transformation. And if you're tired of knowing what to do but just not doing it, my 5-day reset is for you. It's designed to break through the mental blocks and help you get organized in that area of life that matters the most to you right now. So grab that. It's completely free. I'll link it below. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Go be great, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.